Hello to my 44 subscribers. I hope everyone's doing really well and having a nice weekend so far. In the last few weeks, Elon Musk has appeared in three major settings: the Tesla shareholder meeting, the All In podcast, and the Joe Rogan podcast as well. Between them, we've got hours of discussion. I've been a shareholder in Tesla for a very long time. I really enjoy reading about Elon and watching everything he does. I've gone through all of it. And for the sake of clarity and focus, today's video zeroes in on the two most important themes that Tesla and Elon keep returning to again and again throughout. So there are the cars and, of course, the robots, Optimus. The first thing Elon keeps highlighting throughout is pretty simple. Tesla isn't really just an EV company anymore. He says every Tesla produced is an autonomous robot that just happens to look like a car. The hardware is all inside, the intelligence is already on board. So when Elon talks about full self-driving, he's been talking about version 14.2 being a major rewrite, and 14.3 could be the first real-world model where you can basically fall asleep and wake up at your destination. In Austin, Tesla has already been running safety monitoring Robotaxis. They're not prototypes, not lab demos, they're actually really doing it there. And Elon explained what they just learned, that Tesla has to build everything Uber built, basically, but for self-driving cars. So that's fleet management, routing, high demand balancing, parking logic, charging flow, airport integration, autonomous ride handling. And of course, they're scaling this. They're trying to do thousands of robotaxis. That's relatively near term. So with hundreds of millions of vehicles, Tesla could operate a 100 gigawatt distributed computer network. So actually quite an overlooked insight that Elon dropped is basically idle Teslas can run AI jobs. With 100 million vehicles, Tesla could operate a 100 gigawatt distributed power network, built-in cooling and powered electronic. To put that into perspective, that's nearly a quarter of the US total electricity consumption. Elon's basically mentioning that Wall Street isn't yet pricing that in. The second kind of pillar I wanted to talk about here, and Elon's very clear on this isn't a side product of Tesla, is the Optimus V3 is arriving next year, and V4 in 2027, V5 in 2028. And from that point onwards, annual updates are basically going to run like smartphones, aren't they? And, he believes that Optimus could raise global GDP by a factor of 10. The interesting point about where Tesla is in the position of robotics and artificial intelligence is to build a general purpose robot, you need real world AI, custom AI chips, actuators, robotics, massive scale data, manufacturing expertise, energy storage, fleet learning, billions of driving edge cases, basically. Tesla is the only company that has all these under one roof, right? Elon describes this as a world where robots handle most of the forms of labor, where labor is no longer scarce, economic output surges, prices drop, and inflation basically collapses. He suggests that money itself becomes less relevant in a post-scarcity world. From this, we have a convergence of themes, right? We've got transportation becoming autonomous, with robotaxi networks generating recurring revenue, cars that basically become productive assets, not depreciating ones. You've got labor becoming abundant, Optimus handling physical labor cheaper than minimum wage humans. This is transforming construction, logistics, elder care, agriculture, pretty much everything. We've got compute that basically becomes decentralized. The Tesla fleet becomes a global AI grid, and also energy becomes plentiful. Elon believes that the world can run entirely on solar and batteries, something of course Tesla sell. So Optimus and Tesla Energy could build that infrastructure autonomously. And what leads on from that is this economy shifts from scarcity to abundance. This is basically the biggest macro story, right? And the bigger picture to what's going on at the moment. So, most people still think of Tesla as basically being valued like a car company. Of course, Elon is telling you repeatedly that Tesla is becoming an AI company, a robotics company, a transportation network, an energy company, a computer provider, a labor provider ultimately, and a manufacturing platform. And investors ignoring these shifts are missing the entire narrative here. So in short, when you combine everything Elon says across these three events, the messages are relatively clear. So when I sit here and spend my weekend researching about Tesla and about what Elon said for the last few weeks, what becomes apparent to me is how clear the message is here. That transportation, labor, energy, and compute is being automated and it's going to become intelligent. Really, what I see is a very exciting time to be alive when this huge transition is really upon us, right? And this huge opportunity as well. In my opinion, it doesn't matter whether you're bullish, bearish, or neutral on Tesla. This is a big transition within our lifetimes. Thank you so much for watching. Please, this is not financial advice. Please do your own research and feel free to subscribe if you'd like more content like this.